right, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of background here. I have been harassing Dan Thorpe to play for, I don't know how many years it seems like here. But luckily enough, we were able to find a time that worked for both of us. For those of you who don't know, I'm in the Seattle area and Dan's over in the, London, England general area. So we're on totally different time zones. But here we go. We are playing base deployment. Dan is playing the role of the evil rebellion, and I will play the role of the good guys here. My preferred side. So you can see I've got kind of an interesting setup here. I do have access to all the rebel systems, but if you take a look at my loyalties, I've got loyalties in Seleucami, RotE, and Mandalore. Nothing on Corellia, and then subjugated on Celeste and Mustafar. So no easy capital ships on the get-go, unless I try to do a rule by fear in Corellia or move to Ord. I could try one in Moncal as well, but kind of an interesting start here. So no big Imperial groups. But you know what? I think that's okay. So we'll see how I end up deploying here. I go with the Death Star up in RotE. It's probably a bit of a mistake. I probably should have kept it down in Coruscant, but I didn't like the idea of just having the Death Star on Coruscant and then having a big rebel fleet out in Ord or Alderaan or something like that, and then having all my fleet assets too far away to deal with it. So we'll kind of go more standard here. Keep the 2 stormtroopers on the Death Star and see how this all works out. I think this is how we leave it. Yep. So we're going to try to release these 2 videos at about the same time too. Dan is going with 3 troopers on Utapau, which helps ensure a build alliance out there and deploying everything else to the base. Some things I'm worried about here are, just trying to balance the getting Imperial production with subjugating rebel units on here. I do draw Mahdi, and I take him. I tend to always take Mahdi if he's available. Whether or not that was a good idea here, we'll talk about that a bit later. But anyway, go for him. Stick him on Mandalore. I don't like putting him in Mustafar, which on some level might prevent a sabotage out there. At the same time, could also get incite rebellion and kill a leader or something like that. Might not be quite worth it. So, all right. So 3 rebels up, Princess Leia to block, and since Mahdi is occupied, not really a huge fan of trying to do a rule by fear here. So in theory, had I not picked Mahdi, I probably would have been a little more inclined to do one. So anyway, since there's no missions, Mothma grabs Utapau. Now, some of you may have noticed I did have propaganda. That was another big consideration if I should put somebody on propaganda. But again, the challenge with that is even if the Emperor goes on propaganda, Vader subjugates Naboo, I end up with a 3-on-2 role, and I just don't like it when Leia's back. So anyway, I ended up not doing it. I did subjugate Bothwy, did subjugate Naboo, and then I'm debating between subjugating Kashyyyk here or going for the assault carrier in Ord. I decide to opt for Kashyyyk to try to limit the amount of rebel production here to just a couple of capital ships. The downside is I do not have much space production here. So there's a few ways to deal with not having a lot of space production. Obviously, it's nice to get a Star Destroyer on turn 1, but hard to do that if you don't start with the Loyal Corellia and you don't attempt to rule by fear. So you'll notice I drew Secret Development or Secret Weapons Research. So I'll try to go for that. And I'll also go ahead and take Jer Gerard here as well. Sometimes I probably take Yularen here, but instead Jer Gerard's going to kind of commit me to going this project route that I'm planning on going on. Top left corner, you'll see I brought the probe map back for this video. Won't be doing it for everyone, but I thought I'd go ahead and do it for this one. So, possible locations of the Rebel base. It was nice to draw Ilum there, so maybe, walk something out to Dantooine. There's a chance something's in Yavin, Kessel, Tatooine, Ryloth, Endor Hoth. Lots of options here. So since there was an additional unit that was dropped in Utapau, I'll go ahead and put my striker out in Naboo. Threatens a cancel card that I could play. And then just spread everything else out, keep a trooper on the queue. All right, we got 4 rebel leaders, one of which is Lando, so we have to be thinking about whether or not Lando's on undercover or if he's going to be on independent operations. So we'll have to keep that in the back of our mind. I'm going to play Secret Weapons Research here, so we are definitely going a project route. Also trying Propaganda now with the concept of, I can move Vader to Utapau and then Propaganda with the Emperor and then Rule by Fear. That'll help flip Utapau over. So that's my thought process here. No other rebel areas to subjugate outside of Utapau, so I think I can catch up here. Okay, we got false orders on Tarkin. So that loses my rule by fear idea. And then rebels are opening up with a sabotage on Utapau. Now this throws me for a loop here. Dan and I had quite a bit of tabletop going on during this game, so we did lots of edits, but I took a long think here about whether or not I wanted to block that sabotage because I had a lot of things kind of moving on to that idea. Now, since Reekin's there, with Leia there as well, that would give 3 diplomacy blocks. So even if I use Vader and the Emperor, I'm 5 on 3, and I don't love those odds either. So instead, I'm just going to think about things. So I'm going to move Jer Gerard to Ord. He should be safe there. And then Mothma's going to build... Nope, Mothma's going to get a Calamari cruiser. Yep. Okay, that's fun. So that means I should have a build alliance I could potentially block, depending on where they decide to do it. And right now, thinking about whether or not I want to attack Utapau now or later or what. So Tag is moving to Corellia. I think I probably... Yeah, I mean, he's not on... There's no rule by fear anymore, so I think that's probably fine. Dodonna's going to infiltrate, means Lando's most likely on Build Alliance. And with Leia back, the Rebels can even play it sort of cheeky, where if they want to kind of pass, they can put Leia where they want to build Alliance in. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and do Secret Weapons Research and see what I draw. Hopefully some capital ships. A nightmare here would be a couple of super lasers. But instead, it's kind of Yahtzee right there, getting an Interdictor and a Super Star Destroyer. So I'll have some ability to catch up now. So since I drew well, I'm under a little bit less pressure to try to fix Utapau. Lando goes ahead and builds Alliance in Nal Hutta. I do not try to block that because I can just subjugate that. That's kind of what I'm thinking through right now. So Tarkin will bring the Death Star over to Nal Hutta. That build alliance makes me a little suspicious of Tatooine because it seems like he's just trying to pull my forces out that direction. And so Vader here is going to go ahead and lead the attack. Oh, maybe not. We're going to propaganda. Propaganda in Bothui with the idea of stripping some loyalties out there instead. He goes ahead and attempts to block that. That's 3 on 2. Again, 5 on 3 probably would be better there. So 2 for the Emperor, 1 for Leia. It ends up going off. So strip those loyalties. Vader off to Utapau. Now I could try kind of a cheeky retreat here and retreat up to Geonosis is one thought I had. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have exactly 6 things there. End up not doing that. I do bring the Striker, so I threaten the cancel card. So what I'll try to do is just get a little cheeky and skip the cancel and just do damage here. I think that's what I do at least. Seems like something I would do. I've got 3 rerolls with Vader. 2 black dice, 2 red, green, 2 damage here. Thinking he's going to expect me to play the cancel card, he'll probably not play something great here. Yeah, he'll see no card next turn. That's a good card when somebody's expecting to cancel. I like that one. So we'll do 2 damage and reroll 3 and do no more damage. So we need Regan to not roll a heal here. Okay, 1 heal and 1 crit, and he gets another reroll here. We talk about that and get that revised. Okay, so 1 crit and 1 heal. Okay, so he takes the tank out. I should probably cancel this card is what I should probably do this round. But instead I'm just going to lay into more damage here. Oh, nope, maybe not. Yeah, I guess I will. Nope, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I don't get to play a card. We just talk about that. So yeah, he can do 2 sets of damage here. Take out an ATST. I need some hits. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. Much better, Vader. And then we need no heal. Got 1 heal. And 1 crit. 2 heals and 1 crit. Okay. Vader now has to retreat because I'm not interested in getting confronted, so I'll leave the ATST there with the Striker. Probably should do, well, I guess I should probably try to do more damage here, but at this point it doesn't really matter if I win or not because since I'm likely not going to subjugate this planet anymore, I will just be blockading it. And it's sabotaged already, so kind of a giant failure on Vader's part here. So in this instance, I'm going to go ahead and cancel just because oftentimes you don't get that card out. Got a hit. Take the Vanguard out. Hopefully no return fire hit. Nope, you got it. And healed. All right. So 2 ATSTs and a tank lost against 3 Rebel troopers and a Vanguard. All right, way to go, Regan. All right, we'll just pretend that whole exchange didn't happen here. All right, let's take a quick look at the probe map. Didn't cover any, didn't grab any great probes there. Nope, I guess I did. Ryloth. Ryloth's good. And then I've got some stuff to play. So I could use somebody else with tactics here. Don't pull it. Pull Soontir instead. Really like Soontir's card, especially when I'm low on ships. So I'll go ahead and grab him and save him for later. Maybe I'll be able to pick off a capital ship or something with some TIE fighters. I do have 2 guys to deploy, so I'll stick an extra guy down in Naboo, and an extra guy down in Corellia. And then I drew address delays as well. So I have a nice opportunity to catch up on capital ships here. Okay, we've got Chewbacca back. So Chewie, when he's not on the Millennium Falcon, he's on the cancel a fist mission card. So that makes Vader's mission a little bit less exciting here. Okay, we're going to get all the tactics out. Super Star Destroyer, Interdictor, and then address delay. And I'll put 2 on the interdictor so I can build another one next round. Also going to get a rule by fear out. Probably could have dropped an R&D as well and tried to rule by fear in Mustafar. That'd probably be the right move here. But instead we are sabotaging. That's okay. I can get a rule by fear off in Mon Cal. Again, Leia's back, but Emperor and Vader should be 5 on 2. Dodonna could try to infiltrate up there and make it 5 on 3, but he's going to infiltrate in Naboo instead. Fine. The poor man's Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right, going to drop out some interdictors, and I'll go ahead and throw more Vader is to try to just bolster that rule by fear roll a little bit. Oh boy, Lando's on Build Alliance, which means Mothma's on something super fun. Probably establish trade relations, maybe on Uprising. So see where Lando wants to go here. At this point, you got to be watching for regional aid. He could drop one in Salast, and if he drops it in Salast, then I've got to try to rule by fear somewhere. He does not. He drops it up in Ryloth. I'll play Super Star Destroyer. And then see what Mothma's up to. Oh no, Chewbacca just goes and hangs out by Dodonna to try to prevent potential capture there by Tag. All right, Emperor's going to rule by fear, get that Star Destroyer going. Leia, I believe, attempts to block that and likely won't get that to go. It's kind of the advantage of playing all those there. Leia goes and hangs in Utapau. All right. So Tag is on address delays. Boy, that Vader losing Utapau really hurt because that would have been a nice place to drop address delays on as well. But we'll just get another Star Destroyer out and make the best of it. Mothma's up to a public uprising. Now, she doesn't have a great place to do it. She could, I think what she ends up doing is, let's see, probably Salast. Yeah. And then we have a conversation here, and I let him move Leia down to Salast as well, because I think his initial thought was playing it in Utapau, if I remember that right. Anyway, just no issues there. Just repurposing Leia. So that's why she's there right now. So he cancels my assault carrier card, which I think makes sense. It does block the black hits. He's got 3 damage, and yep, everything looks like it's burning. I did save the TIE Fighter and take out a Y-Wing, though, so that was nice. Also damaged the Corvette. So that was pretty good. And then following up in this area, I think it makes the most sense to just try to take out that Corvette and hope the TIE Fighter takes out the Y-Wing. So we'll do 1 red damage. Could use turbo lasers, but tractor beam I think makes sense too. And 1 damage there. Okay. Yeah, I think flipping the combat would have been pretty good there. Okay, kills the TIE Fighter, and I do not kill the Y-Wing. Alright, so Y-Wing is still there. Got my Star Destroyer there. need to figure out how to deal with it, and I end up flying the assault carrier up to do that. And we'll take the troopers so that way we don't leave a sabotage system behind, especially because I'm not ruling by fear. But we will keep the TIE Fighter there so I can claim it later. Now, the Y-Wing's going to get a chance to blow up the assault carrier, but I can't have that system blockaded and not have any good way of getting down to Endor or Tatooine, especially because Mustafar is already covered. So, all right, assault carrier does a suicide run, and then I can at least deploy the interdictor there if I decide to do it. If not, I don't mind that too much. Uprising didn't end up scoring any objectives, so I like that. He draws a raid outpost. So that was the other thing I was considering doing with Soontir there, is I was considering moving to Ilum just in case that raid outpost pop up. Early raid outposts is tough. So I'm going to drop one in Ilum with the idea of I can cover it with my Star Destroyer, even though I know the base isn't there. And then I guess I put the other one in Dantooine because I don't know why. That's just what I do. Maybe Dagobah would have been a nicer spot for that. With raid outposts, you always want to think about Riken's card and Hidden Fleet, so that way if they drop a couple of Y-Wings and troops there, if you put it adjacent to your Imperial forces, you can at least go and snuff out those terrorists before they have a chance to do too much damage. All right, Dan deploys in the base and in Ryloth. Now I already have the Ryloth probes, so it's really just Tatooine up in that corner that I need to worry about. I can check Kessel fairly easily with the Death Star, and I also put the interdictor there as well to try to discourage any shenanigans there. Interdictor on the Death Star is a nice treat, because if they attack with the frigate, you can use the interdictor to just cancel the card, and it gives your Death Star a better fighting chance to fight off a first wave of attempts. All right, so let's take a look at my fleet. So where do I have active, fleet projection of power now? I have the Death Star up north, largely out of the game. It's just got to check Kessel here. I've got a Star Destroyer that's got to cover Endor, Hoth, and Tatooine, so I don't love that. I have one assault carrier in the middle of the map to check, maybe Cato Nemodia. And then I've got another Star Destroyer in the bottom left to maybe check Dantooine. So I need these capital ships to start coming out here. So Rebels on everything, including Chewbacca on a mission, which I usually assume is something bad. So what I do is I go ahead and drop Soontir on Dantooine. That's a very risky use of that card, but because he infiltrated the turn that came up, I feel like he's probably got Hidden Fleet and or Riken's card. So if I can use Soontir's card to prevent the acquisition of an objective, I think that's probably worth it. And then tip I heard from Cornell, if you're going to use one action card, maybe try to use all your action cards if you're going to give up a leader advantage, because just do it on one turn. So I go ahead and try it out, and I use Gerard's card as well. Now, again, the downside behind using that so early is now, you can get another ship out, but he also knows I don't have the fully operational action card either. So Dodonna opens up with a... Oh, nope, he does not. Let's see. Riken opens up with a Hidden Fleet. There it is. Okay, so Hidden Fleet in Ilum. And that gets him a point. But at least I can go crush that starfighter here with that Star Destroyer if I decide to do that. All right, so let's see what we do here. Got another interdictor, another Super Star Destroyer to play. Normally, I don't try to put out 2 Superstar Destroyers, but in this particular instance, I'm so far behind on capital ships. I think I need it, so we're going with it. That'll be, once those 2 ships deploy, that'll be 4 total ships from projects here. All right, Dodonna on Infiltrate. Okay, drops it in Ord. That makes sense because he doesn't want me to attack. And we'll build another super out here, putting him in Mon Cal. Now, it's worth noting, because I failed Utapau and because Corellia is sabotaged, Mon Cal is really my only blue square. So if he has something that can remove that, I'm in some trouble here. I'm not too worried about that, but just something to be thinking about. All right, build alliance with Mothma. That's fine. Let's see where this goes. Toydaria. Okay. That might be to get me to not go to Kessel. That's what I'm thinking about there. I do have that assault carrier I can move. But that assault carrier also needs to cover Cato. In this instance, we're just going to cover Toydaria. And then also cover Kessel, I think, later on this turn. So we got to build alliance and then rogue squadron raid. So that removes 4 health of units. That can remove an interdictor, which is not currently on the queue. So instead it'll just remove a Star Destroyer, which is fine. Put a lot of work into getting all these ships up. They're just getting Chewbacca'd. Okay, we're going to capture Mothma. Good job, Piet. And then Lando. Again, keep in mind we haven't seen too many Rebel cards come out yet. So contingency plan on Lando. So still need to be thinking about regional aid because Celeste is still open to that. I'm going to put another interdictor on the queue here. And let's see what Lando decides to do. Build alliance. Okay, that means Chirrut's probably on sabotage. So building alliance in Kessel. Could mean he's pushing lots of loyalty up in the Nal Hutta region. So he could be trying to strip that. Or he could be trying to score support of the Hutts. Emperor's got to do something here. Now, I think I might be emphasizing that, but just wanted to try to prevent support of the Hutts next turn. And then tag for another move. When in doubt, kill rebels. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now, had I not played my Tractor Beam card, I could use this. I could have used Tractor Beam to capture instead of an actual capture card, but alas. We'll flip the combat. He will deploy a troop, I believe. Yep. Okay. And I already know it's not in Ilum, so that works. This could have been another opportunity for a cheeky retreat, but I think I wanted that assault carrier. Okay, this was a little bit better. Try the ground combat here. I'll blow up a troop. I'm assuming he's going to do the same. Yes, indeed. All right, this ATST should fare a little bit better. Tag seems a bit more reliable than Vader, in my opinion. All right, way to go. All right, so far, so good. Wished Utapau would have gone a little bit better. If we take a look at the probe map real quick, got, oh, what do we got Chirrut doing? Leading the strike team. Yep. That makes sense. So we put Leia in Dantooine and then is leading the strike team out in Dantooine as well to pick up that other objective. Not a whole lot I can do about that. I do have Soontir there, so I do get a dice roll. We'll see how we roll here. But using a hidden fleet to get an objective, that is bad for the Empire. I don't mind so much if they're using strike team to pick up the second objective. I've done a pretty good job of blocking everything else so far, so it's unfortunate raid Outpost pulled up, but sometimes it does. All right, let's see what we get here for probes, and see if we can use display of power next turn, maybe. Got Naboo and Felucia. Okay. So still have all those remotes to check. The 3 on the left, the 2 on the right, Dagobah, Tatooine, and Cato, which I moved away from as well. Good news is I finally have some capital ships coming down, and I also drew Ozzel, which is a kind of an automatic for me. Anytime I pull Ozzel, almost always take him. Catch them by surprise is often just too good to pass up. So I have one assault, so 2 Moncals in the base now. And that's most of his fighting force. So if I can just pin where the rebel base is, then we should be in good shape. So assault carrier up in Bothaway with the idea of checking Tatooine. The other place it could have gone is Salus to check Cato Nemodia. Would have been another pretty good spot. And I'll also drop a second shield bunker. So 2 shield bunkers and an interdictor up by the Death Star now should be pretty well covered. And next round I'll get quite a few capital ships coming out. All right, I got Tarkin's card, I got Display of Power, I got Rule by Fear. Keep in mind we've got Lando's card to worry about still too. And it looks like I'm also thinking about possibly drawing some probes. I do have Homing Beacon, but I'm expecting the Rebels can rescue Mothma here early, and because I passed on Yularen on turn 2 for Jer Gerard and that Superstar Destroyer, I don't really have a good way of doing Homing Beacon, so we're just going to kind of leave that be. Now, whenever I play, I seem to have this same habit that pops up time and time again, and I'm thinking about that here. I cut out a big long wait where oftentimes, around turn 5 or 6, I'll do a big probe pull, run a bunch of probe missions. But oftentimes what happens is, I'll get attacked, or I'll figure out where the rebel base is that turn, and then the probes don't do me as much good. So I actually sort of undo all that probing I'm planning on doing there. I just wanted to kind of explain that. Now we've got Dodonna and Luke on a mission. Okay, so that's almost guaranteed to be Plan the Assault, and 1 in a million. So we've got this, I've got this sort of fear going around at the moment about the Death Star and, if it's protected well enough or what. So, I don't know. Plant False Leads comes up. He's got Ryloth. That's unfortunate. Megiddo, that's fine. Ilum, that's fine and covered. And then Naboo, too, which is also covered. So not a great Plant False Leads, except for Ryloth is a little bit troublesome. I do have Display of Power, so I could just use that on Ryloth if I needed to. So what I'll try to do is just try to gain some loyalties and see if I can get some things to start going my way a little bit. First things first, let's check Kessel and make sure nothing's there. So then the Death Star can move back and back up Tatooine if that happens to be the rebel base. I don't want to preemptively move the Death Star there just because of Plan the Assault. Oh yeah, not planning the assault. We're rescuing Mothma. Forgot she was captured in the first place. It's been a while since I actually filmed this about 8 days ago and then left on vacation here. So for those of you who are anxiously waiting the release of the tournament, that's coming out here fairly soon as well. All right. Tags checking. Yavin, no luck. And got an infiltrate up from the rebels. We got a whole lot of stuff going up at Mothma's land. So I got lucky and blocked the escape. So that was nice. Piet checks Tatooine. Nothing there. Okay. So we know it's not Ryloth because we had the probe. Chewie's dropping a sabotage in Salas. So now we're pretty much, I mean, his first sabotage was in Mustafar. His second was in Utapau, and then Corellia, and now Celeste. Like, the base has got to be down in Endor or Hoth. It's kind of my thought process now. Especially following up Build Alliance in Bespin. Now, I did not do an R&D this round, unfortunately. So that would have been a nice... At least I don't think I did. Well, maybe I did. I probably could have pulled off. Yeah, there we go. Try to rule by fear out in Mustafar and pull out the Leia block. I roll a 0. Leia blocks that. And then I've got Display of Power and Tarkin's card. So I can use Tarkin's card. I should use it. I should probably use a lot of these in these busted up planets I've got going on there, especially if I want to make a run at Endor. Trying that in Bespin would be pretty ballsy, but it could also be a real nice move to do that and then drop some capital ships. Instead, I'm trying to prevent like some sort of a rapid mobilization next turn with Ryloth being open there, but I think I was overthinking things there. And then I go for loyalty in the total wrong area here. Unless I'm thinking he's in Dantooine or Dathomir. But right now I'm pretty much, my whole head is in Endor or Hoth right now. Oslo moving down. Now I've got a problem. I've got the capital ships, but I don't really have a whole lot of great places to deploy them. So here, Naboo and Ilum. So the Plant False Leads was just to reduce my stuff there. Would have been nice to have those probes that turn, I think. But alas, can't outthink them all. All right, got a lot of capital ships to do stuff with here. And unfortunately, base was not in Tatooine like I'd hoped. Also, I'm kind of just light on ships and loyalty in general, so I've got kind of a broken up map here at the moment. Good news is not many rebel objectives have been scored outside of raid outposts, so I'll drop some capital ships sort of nearby. Risky putting a Star Destroyer in Kashyyyk, but he's going to go down and cover Cato is my thought. Nope. Guess I don't want to take that risk after all. All right, he's going up in RotE. Coruscant probably... Kashyyyk probably would have been fine, although Wookiee Uprising hasn't been played and would have felt bad just dropping it there. Now what I could have done, I could have put the Super Star Destroyer there maybe if I was worried about that, but then he'd blow up the Stormtroopers and that would be embarrassing too. So I don't know. Who knows? Okay, spreading stuff out. And for Rebel missions, got everybody out except Chewie. We got Luke on a mission. I should point out that he did not get Son of Skywalker last turn because I blocked the rescue. I could try a homing beacon here. I could. It would be risky for lots of reasons. But Detain is kind of a nice card here too, because if I get the Rebel fleet pulled out in an awkward position, I can detain them there. Probably more likely to use it next turn. You'll see I drew Carbon Freeze and I've got Chewbacca out there, so I've kind of got to get him to use his Wookiee Guardian here if I can do it. So I'll put Vader on a capture and try to pull that out, assuming they're going to rescue Mothma. We will see. See how that all works out. And I still have Ozzel as well, although no great spot to use him yet. All right, let's see how they do this. Rebels open with rescuing Mothma, which that's fair. Go ahead. And then now I can pull off a capture later, hopefully. Okay. Move into Geonosis with the idea of I don't want that Y-Wing to pick off my only assault carrier up there. And now Chirrut with an Incite Rebellion, and I realize I made a pretty critical error here in my deployment where I saw a lot of stuff on Nal Hutta and just assumed I was good, but I totally neglected Chirrut's action card, which strips my AT-AT and also my ability to play my AT-AT card. Would have liked to have a tank or two there. So I got kind of a mess on my hands now. Also probably should have tried to block that, but just didn't do it. Now for some reason I don't play the Shield Bunker card here. Shield Bunker card would have been a nice one to do because if he scores a couple of hits, which he's likely to do, the bunker can absorb it. So I need kind of a bad roll here to bail me out. Instead, he heals and does 2 criticals. So everything of mine is dead. I do get a heal, but he played the no heal card. So round 2, I'm left with no troops and a shield bunker that can't do anything. So we both toss a card, my shield bunkers die, and now the Death Star is exposed with so now the Death Star is exposed to Luke running, planning the assault, or Dodonna planning the assault after Luke infiltrates or whatever. So I'm going to use Piet in a way I didn't have any intention of using him this turn, which is to move the Death Star out. Now what that does is that lets me kind of have a roll to stop planning the assault. Also discourages Luke from infiltrating on the Death Star. So instead, I let him infiltrate on the Superstar Destroyer, and he pulls Son of Skywalker out, which is fine. Okay. I need to get an R&D and a rule by fear done here. Also should be trying to capture Luke this turn, probably. Pull out Vader, or pull out Chewie. Tag, it has to check Dagobah, he has to check Cato, and we also have to consolidate our forces. Now, honestly, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I move a lot of ground assets out to Cato. Moved a lot of ground assets out to Cato. I think I was concerned about Lando and Independent, but I'm not really too sure about this. So I move a lot out to Cato to cover. I still have to cover Dagobah. Riken runs. Build Alliance. Okay, so now he's got regional aid out there. And now I have a problem. So now I have to decide whether or not I want to try to rule by fear out in Celeste and then clean it up, or if I try to prevent an objective from being scored. So first I'm going to try to capture, and I'm going to go after Riken because I'm trying to remove that diplomacy there. Also kind of do a low priority target. Chewie does Wookiee Guardian, which prevents that automatically. That kind of accomplished that goal, I suppose. And now Dodonna passes after a long pause. And then so most likely thinking about whether or not he wants to make a run at the Death Star or not versus an interdictor. I think if there's no interdictor there, he definitely makes a run. But with the interdictor there, it gave him a little bit of pause. So I end up winning the Rule by Fear roll out in Malastare. But what that does is it prevents me from R&Ding Celeste, which is a priority if I'm ever going to get down to Endor, to be honest. But again, my thought process was I would consolidate the fleet next turn. I was actually hoping to get that RotE Star Destroyer down to Malastare with Piet instead of having to use Piet to defend the Death Star. So I guess we'll see what happens here. I think that still would have been the good move, but I'm trying to get enough pressure to get something into Bespin because I feel like we're on a clock now. Okay, so he plays No One Left Behind. So we've got, not a lot I could do about that with the Rescue and the Guardian. So No One Left Behind scores, so we're at 3 total objectives now. Or 4, I guess, because Raid Outpost counts as 2. Not a whole lot we can do about Liberation there. Interrogation's the card that goes. I did draw Factory, which is nice. And I'll toss these probes that I have here. Probe cards. And feels like one of those games where we're not going to be rapiding around a bunch here. Now again, had I just fixed Celeste, I'd probably be down another objective point, but I'd be able to deploy some stuff out. So anyway, get a second super out in Cato. And then I got to get some ground. Nope. Going to go for the second super up at the Death Star because at this point I'm paranoid. Why not? Move all our big ships far away. Throw a green dice up there too, right? Nope. Throw another red and black up there like a crazy man. Yep. Wombat is playing like a crazy person. All right, that's okay though. Hopefully I do put something on Cato. 1 assault carrier. Okay. Keep the AT-AT in Bespin. And because I don't have Display of Power anymore, Bespin is kind of a nasty spot for Lando and independent operation. So I'm trying to think through all these little pieces that are going to cause problems here. Anytime you're worried about independent operation, it's probably a good idea to have a trailing ship behind your main fleet to be able to walk those 6 troops or whatever back up to the main strike force. I think that was my kind of initial thought with Cato, but then I also moved all my troops around with them as well. So I'm not too sure why I did that. If you take a quick gander at the Rebel base, it's gigantic. 3 snow speeders, handful of troops, bunch of capital ships. We know, pretty sure at least Dodonna's got planned the assault as well. Leaders on everything. All right, let's see what we're thinking about doing here. Definitely on a clock. Only have a couple of turns left to go. try to pull off a carbon freeze. Got a lot of stuff we're getting to do here. That's another thing you'll notice in my videos. I tend to get pretty panicky towards the end of the game here when we get towards a kind of final confrontation sort of stage. Really probably should have saved Display of Power for this push. Anytime Rebels have Lando, it's Display of Power is a super useful card to have. Construct Factory is nice, but it doesn't do any good if they just move all your ground forces back a unit. I do have Ozzel, so I can make up for that a little bit. And then because I didn't take Krennic's Finest and instead I took Ozzel, I'm going to have a hard time pulling off this capture carbon freeze idea. But he does know I'm on a project card, so I could try some sort of a bluff here with tag. But I'm going to keep tag on detain. See if I can make that work in my favor. Detain Lando. Okay, sabotaging Bespin. That all makes sense so far. The hope here is that Lando will do something out in the open, even if he's fairly well guarded, and I can just pin him to the board so he can't independent operation next turn, and then I can get off a deployment and catch them by surprise. That's probably my best bet. Although, 50-50 on where it is, and boy, if it's in Dagobah, that's going to be a nightmare. Technically, it could be in Dantooine too, although, man, that'd be quite the play. All right, Mothma out to gain loyalty there. So I need to try to capture Chirrut and then spend loyalty on Bespin and try to prevent that regional aid. I really can't let regional get off anywhere. Also, if he, instead of regional aid, has, the defensive bunkers or something like that, that would be super embarrassing also. Spent a lot of effort in this dealing with that supposed mission there. All right. Leia's building alliance, and I got to have Tarkin be a hero here. 1 against 2. Tarkin rolls 0. Leia also rolls 0. Okay, still got a chance. Ozzel's going to go ahead and attack Dantooine. Now, I don't think the base is there, but I have to check. And I also need to reduce the amount of rebels on the map. When rebels start pulling level 3 objectives, you need to start thinking about, if you have any easily exposed factories that can be raided. If there's a bunch of rebels scattered throughout the map, they can score the rebels in 5 systems sort of thing. And, yep, no rebel base there. Go ahead and crush this little soldier. Make me feel good about myself. And Luke is now a Jedi, because why not? That's just what we need here. All right, I'm going to remove the sabotage. And wait for Lando to come out for the detain. Come on, Lando. You can do it. Dodonna doesn't want to plan the assault yet, so I think it'll work out okay. Regan is visiting. And we're going to go ahead and move the Death Star to Malastare. Not that he'll have quite enough time to make it down there, maybe with a successful carbon freeze. And we still have to play 50-50 on, or I guess 33-33-33 could be on Dagobah. And Lando on Rapid. And I think at this point, I'm pretty sure we're at game, set, match. Really wanted to pull off the detain there, and instead just going to have to detain Luke. And try a 1 on... Okay, so I rolled 4. So that's pretty good. Luke's only got 2 plus Yoda. But he also has Chewie there. So yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no detain. Lando was the obvious target. Luke, second target, just because he's 3 rerolls on each, plus Yoda. Just makes him a nightmare for Ozzel to try to deal with. And then Dodonna on plan the assault. And he's going to plan the assault up in Utapau, which will probably either score Seize Control or raid Factory. Either one is bad. Striker, just completing Vader's shame here on Utapau. Lost. Utapau is now lost. Well, just everything. Everything's lost. All right, so... Striker's very dead. Doesn't kill anything. And there is Raid Factory, I believe. There it is. Okay. Now very, very close to game over. All right. Try to pull off a capture on Chirrut. Then maybe we can open with a carbon freeze. Okay, got a capture. It's good. And then we got Rule by Fear. Now I need the capture on Chirrut to improve my chances to Rule by Fear here. Because now that Chirrut's captured, he can't oppose it, and that prevents him from scoring the regional aid that I think he has. Cato and Geonosis, okay, not super helpful. And then deployment here. So I do get to deploy on Bespin, but problem with deploying on Bespin is we still have Lando. And hopefully he's on undercover, but I just don't think that's the case. Now the one thing he can't move is shield bunkers, but I'll go ahead and plop those on the Death Star for some reason. Put the AT-AT out there. Put a Star Destroyer out there. Would like to have that other super there. And then I can still use Ozzel. Maybe Lando's on undercover. Even if Lando's not on undercover, everything can go back to Celeste. I can't trigger the base, but I can try to last another turn or two. So if Lando is on independent operation, everything will move to Celeste. And then I can try to move everything to Bespin after that. Now, if I was real fancy, I would try to find a way to kill my guy in Mustafar. But unfortunately, I still had stormtroopers to deploy. If you're out of units in the box, you can pull units from the map. So imagine a world where Lando independent operations, I move to Celeste, Lando into Bespin, and then maybe find a way to retreat into the base. That'd be fun. Could also just check Dagobah. That's probably really what I should be doing here. All right, so we have Rebels only need one more victory point here. So Lando does do independent operation. I go ahead and Ozzel back to Bespin. Now, I can't retreat out of there or anything. So my hope here is that I can pull off a carbon freeze. and delay the game one more time. So I can run some combination of carbon freeze, maybe with Vader, or maybe I run Vader's mission with Vader, and then run carbon freeze with Piet and either way. I guess I'll do it that way instead. Put tag on capture, Piet and Soontir on retrieve the plans. Yep, kind of a long shot, but it seems reasonable enough. Gives me a chance to block the rescue with the Emperor and Ozzel. If they do successfully rescue, then I can recapture. If he makes a mistake, then I can carbon freeze and secure the plans to maybe prevent whatever's being done from being done. He's also got a ton of things here. So see what he opens with. He opens with an attack, which means he's got a combat objective to score here. Now I have a gigantic fleet here, so I don't think he needs to do much. It's probably major victory he's going after, since the place is not boarded up anymore. And I've just got Ozzel there because, again, I Ozzeled there in the early times. So major victory is 3 health units died. Now I have an assault carrier and a TIE fighter there. So that's going to be the easiest things to take out. So I need to try to keep those things alive. So I'm on the defensive here, which is nice. So I'm going to roll second. I also have an interdictor. So I will just cancel that card, then play another one. Play my Super Star Destroyer, block all the hits cards. Critical, couple of red hits. No black hits, though. Try to keep that assault carrier alive. And because I roll second, that works. And then I've got the no heal card for next turn. So I can do some damage to Moncals or whatever this turn. Hopefully wipe out a ton of starfighters and then wipe out the remaining Moncals next turn with the no heal card. See how we do with blocked hits. Again, I just need to prevent 3 things from dying. So it depends on what Luke decides to go for here. Okay, 1 crit and 2 reds are blocked. So far, so good for Ozzel. Okay, so he's got 2 hits. He's going for reds. He's going for the assault carrier, which makes sense. Or the interdictor, or whatever he wants. Okay. 4 total hits. See which way he stacks these up. Now I got a ton of heals I can roll here, too, because there's not a no healing card. He's going to Yoda, so he's going to roll one more time. And we have a big oopsie here. Probably could have edited out that reroll, but yep, just do it that way. Okay, so 4 hits. You could take out the interdictor, you could take out a Star Destroyer, take out a bunch of things. But again, only needs 3 health worth of things to die. So he's got a tough decision to make here. There's actually a reasonable chance I pull this off if he has another round of bad rolls. So think about what you would do here, I suppose, if you were a evil Jedi, dark Jedi. Also, this is where the retreat could have been nice if I could have stripped Mustafar. If I managed to not let 3 things get blown up here, and Mustafar doesn't have a stormtrooper, because the base wasn't revealed, I could retreat into 50-50 on Hoth or Endor. All right, he's taking out the Star Destroyer. See how we do here. Need a heal. Got 2. Okay. Star Destroyer's back in action. I need to kill some starfighters. Kill the Moncals next turn. He's got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red. 1 black, 3 green. So taking out the U-wing would definitely be a good thing. Yeah, I should probably re-roll the reds. I think that's the right way to do it. Yeah, thinking too hard because reds give me extra heals. So I mean that's what I should be doing is re-rolling reds. 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So probably take out the frigate, take out the frigate, take out the U-wing, take out the X-wing. Yep. Yeah. Because he's overloaded on red dice, so it doesn't do me a whole lot of good to take out Y-wings. Probably should have taken out that X-wing. Although, really what he needs is red hits to wipe out the Star Destroyer. He's going to block 2 black hits, so I'm going to say no healing. And then see what he rolls here. He's already Yoda'd. Mostly red dice here. Whew, gross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 hits, all on the Star Destroyer. Give me 8 total hits, if he's actually after major victory. Assuming that's what's going on here. Yep. Star Destroyer ceremoniously takes a fall there. 8, so I need 4 or 5 heals. Yeah, nice try, Ozzel. All right, well, that is most likely game. One, 2 heals. Star Destroyer is toast. I guess the other way, yeah, I couldn't have. The other way I could have done it is I could have retreated maybe and then just played for Hoth next turn and, conceded if it was in Endor. I mean, most likely it's an Endor. I feel like it's got to be an Endor. But he scores major victory there and ends it. So yeah, that is the end of the first game between Dan and Wombat. I think he flips over the base here. It is in Endor. So that's how the Wombat crumbles there in this round. So hey, I hope you guys like this video. Sorry it took me a little bit to get it out. I do have the other 3 tournaments recorded. Voiceovers are done. I'm going to release them here one week after another. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you do, please like and subscribe. Hopefully Dan and I will play again soon.